Hello and welcome back to Golf News. Kicking back, we've had Euro 2020, we've had the Copa America, and we've had football action from the Tokyo Olympics to help us get through these last 2 or 3 months. But the return of the English Premier League is just days away, and life will have meaning once again. I'm Imran and I'm delighted to be joined once again by my football mad mates. That's Matt, Shamsir and Sahil. And as you can see, we're all dressed up in our favourite football shirts. We're all looking very cool, I would say. I like that Man City shirt there, Matt. It's pretty cool. It's one of my favourite ones.
Yeah, we've all got a bit of a retro thing going on with these shirts as well. I've just noticed.
Yeah, it's good, eh? It's good. Old, as they say. Anyway, welcome back, guys. In today's show, we're going to preview who we think is going to win the Premier League come the end of the season, who we think is going to finish in the European slots. That's the Champions League and the other 2 spots below. We're going to talk about who's going to win the 2 domestic cup competitions. That's the FA Cup and the League Cup. And of course, who's going to finish in the bottom 3, the relegation positions. But before we do that, as usual, like we've been doing for all the Euros, we're going to bring you a bit of transfer news, and I think you know exactly where I'm going to start because there's only one person to talk about at the moment, and that's Lionel Messi. Apparently, he's scheduled to have a medical today before completing a free transfer to Paris Saint-Germain. Sorry, Matt. And then apparently,
it's fine with me. I'm just worried about their front line now.
But get this, apparently he's going to be unveiled as a PSG player at a special ceremony at the Eiffel Tower. That's what they're saying is going to happen in the coming days. So look, we can only start with Matt because Matt's a big Man City fan. He's got the shirt on. And as we know, last year, Man City came quite close to signing Messi, but then it didn't happen. So come on, mate, tell us your thoughts. Are you pleased that you're not signing him? Are you disappointed?
I am pleased. I mean, he's one of these players that I've always admired, and I hope he does well, just not at our expense in terms of the European tournaments. PSG are what they are. They've got a bit of money to throw around, and they've now got Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi. The last time that they booked the Eiffel Tower was when they were unveiling Neymar. So this definitely looks like it's all happening today in terms of getting it all done and dusted. He's clearly agreed wages. Neymar will be delighted. His old buddies there again. What it will mean for Mbappe, I'm not quite sure. And also what it will mean for Aguero, because Aguero's gone to Barcelona to link up with Messi, and now he's not there. So there's all these different moving pieces still going on there, because Mbappe's been linked with Liverpool, and Neymar's been unsettled at that club for a long time. But in terms of PSG, they'll be happy. They'll be very happy. But I don't think City will miss him. I don't think he'd be the right fit for City because they've got such a unity there. He could be quite an unsettling factor and put us back a few seasons. So I think that, but with the prima donnas at PSG, he'll fit right in.
You're going to be kidding. You're going to be kidding. Lionel Messi doesn't fit in Manchester City. Oh my goodness, he can fit in any team in the world. He can improve any.
Oh yeah, no, I can say there's no doubting his talent. It's the other factors that come with it: the money, the demands to be playing every game and be number one at the club. The wage structure would have to change, and also FFP. Where was City going to justify the money and the expense when we've already just spent 100 million on Grealish? So I think that he would be more unsettling than. But of course, he brings the great amount of talent that he brings everywhere he goes. But I think he's better off in Paris than he is in Manchester.
Another big talking point is he's always been compared with Cristiano Ronaldo as the best player in the world. Now look, Ronaldo's gone everywhere across Europe, played for all the different teams, all the big clubs, and he's proved himself everywhere he's been. Messi, as we know, he's stayed at Barcelona for his whole career for 21 years. He hasn't moved anywhere. So now he's finally going to have to move, and he's doing it at the age of, 34, 35? He's not a young player anymore. So to go to a different league, La Liga is pretty different to the Spanish league. is going to find it a little bit tricky. Of course, he's one of the most skillful players in the world. You know, when you're that good, you can adapt your game to any league. But I think just with that age, I think he's probably a little bit better suited to playing in France than he would have been in the Premier League. I get a feeling that he'd probably get bruised and battered, I think, in the Premier League a bit. But yeah, it's a shame that we're not seeing him in the Premier League. Of course, it'll be great if he could have come along and you know, we need a big player there. Ever since Ronaldo's gone, we've kind of missed a really big name sort of talent. So Hill, do you think Solskjaer's putting in a cheeky bid there for Messi before he signs to PSG?
I wish that was true, but I don't think so, because now the signing of Jadon Sancho means that the right wing has been filled now with both Mason Greenwood and Jadon Sancho. So, and I know how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer operates. He believes in the youth only. I don't think he would want Messi, but obviously every fan would want Messi in Manchester United. So I don't think United would ever go for Messi now. It's all over. Maybe a Cristiano Ronaldo in maybe 2 years, you can say that. But on this season, Messi is very unlikely, and it's almost done to PSG. So I'm very happy for Messi, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an exciting move. So Hill, I'll just stay with you because the next bit of transfer news involves Kieran Trippier. Apparently, Arsenal are going to be making a move for the Atletico Madrid defender because Man United haven't been able to agree terms or a transfer fee for him. So are you upset? Are you disappointed that you might not be signing Trippier? Do you even need him?
First of all, yeah, I mean, Kieran Trippier is a wonderful player. Like, I really like, the creativity. He's got a good cross in him, but he's a 30-year-old guy. And I think, I remember the news about the 40 million valuation. I think it's a lot for a 30-year-old right back. I don't know, but he is a great player. And, I think he's better than Dalot for sure. He's better than Diogo Dalot. So it'll be a good competition between Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Trippier. But even though if United don't get him, no loss, it's fine. They have Dalot, they can trust him, give him time. He's 22. He didn't have the best of seasons at Man United in 2019. He had an all right season at AC Milan. So even though if Man United don't sign Trippier, there's no harm done for sure.
What's happening with Paul Pogba? Is he staying? Is he going? Do you want to keep him?
I would like to keep him, but you know what they say: if a player does not want to stay, you should let him leave. You need a guy who has to give 100% to the club. But there's no doubt this guy is a fantastic player. That link up between Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba is outstanding. If he stays, that would make a huge difference to Manchester United. But if a guy does not want to stay, you should let him go. Just let him go. He's not going to give his 100%.
Yeah, actually, Sahil, I shouldn't be talking to you because I'm upset. It was a pre-season friendly on Saturday and you beat us.
Don't worry, dude. Don't worry, mate. It's pre-season. It's all about game awareness. Everton will be perfectly fine.
Wait till we talk about the relegation battle, then you can get upset.
We'll see. Right, Shamsir, I've got one for you. Lukaku, as we know, has been linked heavily. He's on the verge, apparently, with rejoining Chelsea for something like 97 million, 100 million pounds from Inter Milan. We know he's a tremendous striker. He's brilliant. And in the last 2 seasons at Serie A, especially under Conte as the manager at Inter, he's really improved. He's become a really all-round good player. Is he the last piece in the jigsaw for Chelsea to mount a proper title challenge if you sign him?
I totally agree with that because ever since the departure of Diego Costa, we never had a striker who could, bully the defenders and score some goals. We have seen the likes of Morata coming and failing. Timo Werner's conversion rate is abysmal. But this guy, he is an absolute monster. What we have seen in the Belgium squad, how he is. He has become a world-class striker. Some people are still thinking of him seeing in a Man United shirt. Yes, he had an average spell at Man United, but he was banging in goals for Everton, back east, and even for Man United, he was banging in goals. But then that move to Serie A and to play under Antonio Conte had made an absolute immense in his, he has improved a lot under him. He has improved his hold-up play. He has improved his link-up play. He can run down the channels intelligently, like all the intelligent runs he makes while in the counter-attacks. Absolutely incredible, man. And the kind of system that we play under Tuchel is very similar to the one that he has been playing under Conte at Inter, and that could suit us very well. And when you look at the stats, and apparently after Tuchel took over, we have been creating a lot of chances. We have created a lot of goal scoring chances from open play. We haven't been converting them, and you can see our Premier League top scorer has been Jorginho with 7 goals, all coming from the penalty spots. See, if we can get a goal scorer who can score like 20 goals in the Premier League, that itself is enough to mount a title challenge with the kind of score that we have at the moment, and the kind of vibe they are playing in. They have already won the Champions League, and the monkeys off the back of the kids. They can play free-flowing football next season, and we already know that our defense is so strong under Tuchel. And there are talks about adding Koundé to Chelsea in the defense. That could add a lot of quality. Lukaku alone, could bring a lot of difference to that squad. Especially when you look at the attacking side, we have lots of youngsters like Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Mason Mount, all are young kids. And this Lukaku as a beast who comes in with all this experience, he's not a kid anymore. He left Chelsea when he was a kid. Now he's coming back as a man, and he can lead that front line for us, and he can score a lot of goals. I can guarantee he could be up and running for the Golden Boot for next season.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Okay, look, the transfer window's open until the end of this month, and there's bound to be some pretty big moves and some shock sales in the coming weeks, so we'll be keeping an eye on all of that. Meanwhile, the new season kicks off this Friday. Can't wait. With my local club, Brentford, taking on Arsenal. And so that's Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we'll have a full set of fixtures. Guys, how do we see the opening game going between Brentford and Arsenal? Because, last season there was a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta. They gave him the time. Normally when teams struggle like Arsenal did, they were in the bottom half of the table. They were flirting with relegation for some of the season. But they stuck with him, new manager, in the position for the first time, coming from Man City, from their under Pep Guardiola over there. So they've stuck with him. But I think this season, they're going to really want to see some progress. He's got to get Arsenal up the table. Otherwise, I think he could be the first managerial casualty of the season. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's a big one. They've taken a few gambles in the transfer market. They've got a few faces in there, and they've certainly spent a lot of money. So this team, there's no excuses for Arteta anymore. This is now his team. He's got the people in that he wanted to get in, according to budget restrictions or whatever else. But it's now the players that he's brought in. He's going to have to. I don't think they can be as bad as last year. I don't know, but again, there's so many other teams have strengthened that if things don't go the way at the start of the season, they could see another slide, and then they might find themselves in trouble, and the board won't have the same patience as they did last season. And you may be right in terms of the casualties, Arteta, but hopefully, because I do like him with these Man City links as well, but I think that he's a manager who's got a lot of good potential, and I think it would be a shame to see him go the way of John Terry or something, or Frank Lampard, and maybe get a damaging start to your career as a full-time manager. Even Wayne Rooney, he struggled as well. So hopefully they'll be okay. But and the fact that they're playing the new boys Brentford, the 95th team ever to play in the Premier League now, something like that.
50th.
50th. Right, that's what it is. That's what it is. And I would struggle to name you a starting 11 for Brentford. So I think Arsenal will be pretty too strong for them today on Friday.
They've got a good striker, mate. He's called Ivan Toney. He's a hell of a player. But this is just from the Championship and First Division, coming up to the Premier League against proper strong teams. How's he going to cope? We're going to see. So Hill, what do you think? Do you think Arsenal and Arteta, are they going to be together for a long time, or do you think he could be the first one out this season?
Yes and no. I like the guy. He's not a bad manager, but Imran, you actually said it right. He can be the first one to get sacked by the club, unfortunately. But I hope he doesn't. He's got a good decent, not a great team, but a decent squad. You know, he signed a good player like Ben White for a heavy money. But see, they're all making fun of this, like how much they paid for Ben White, but they should see the player they got. They've got a good player. Let's be honest. Yes, he's come from Brighton, and they'll say he's just won a championship for Leeds. But no, he's a good player, and I think he's going to be Arsenal's main centre back, or maybe they can put him in the CDM position. You never know. But I hope Arteta doesn't get sacked. But in the end, to be honest, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so it won't matter to me. But he is a good manager for sure. It's just that the last season, his squad depth was terrible, like really poor. Like I have to say that.
I think the markup generally on English players is just astronomical. Ben White's cost, I think, 52 million. He's a good player, absolutely. Brings the ball out from defence, composed on the ball. He's got age on his side, obviously. I mean, is he going to be? Well, he's going to be a huge player for Arsenal if they're going to try and get into that top 6 position. But look, the big game of the weekend is Tottenham against Man City. That should be a great one. And the big question is, and again, this is to start with Matt, is Harry Kane going to be wearing the white of Tottenham or the blue of Man City?
The closer we get to the end of the window, the more you might think that maybe this might just go on hold again. And Tottenham, for all the noises that Kane's making, Tottenham will still be happy to keep him. He's not burnt the bridges so far that he won't be back there. He's already made amends for missing the training and said that it was completely normal and it wasn't anything out of the blue or a standoff. Whether that's true or not is a different matter, but he's making the right noises in terms of saying, I might be staying after all. He would have been very worried at the news of Messi, but now that one's out the way, you might see something happening with Kane very shortly, but not in time for the Spurs game. That I think that he'll be not wearing white or blue in that game. I think he might be conveniently absent from the squad.
Do you know what's going to happen there? You can just see this, right? If he isn't moving to City before the weekend, and if he does turn out for Tottenham, he's going to score the winner, isn't he?
Yeah, he will.
It's just written.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, what do you think? Is Kane moving? Is he staying? What's going to happen with Harry Kane?
It all depends on Daniel Levy. You know how very, very difficult to do business with him. But Kane definitely wants out because he's saying there has been a gentleman's agreement. I don't understand that. First of all, you've signed a contract until 2024 and with a gentleman's agreement to leave. I don't know that. But anyway, Kane not coming for the training has been a bad thing for him. But he has made clarification. He has put a post in Twitter and everything. But it doesn't look good with him, with the fans. He's a legend of the club. Shouldn't be doing that. He can do the same thing that Jack Grealish has done. Come for the training, do the bits. Training is nothing. You're having chit chat with your friends. It's basically nothing. You can come for it. Why do you need to be on the headlines for all these things? Or for all the wrong reasons. Yes, Man City. We have seen from Pep Guardiola that they want to get that striker. Getting Kane now already signed Grealish. Grealish has been one of the most creative players in the Premier League apart from De Bruyne. So De Bruyne and Grealish are playing in the same team. And with Harry Kane up top, I don't think there is a league title race. It will be all over before it even started. So I wish Harry Kane stays at Spurs for the sake of the league. Otherwise it's going to be crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
You can just see Harry Kane scoring a ton of goals if he does move to Man City. I mean, no disrespect to Tottenham, they're rubbish. I don't care. But if he does move to Man City with that supply chain, he could be getting he could be getting 30 goals this season if he does move.
100%.
Yeah.
Sahil's not looking as convinced as the rest of us.
Automatic. Jack Grealish is a David Silva replacement. There was in one team David Silva and De Bruyne, and those guys were inseparable. Now Jack Grealish will do the same with what De Bruyne. And De Bruyne was looking more than Guardiola. I think De Bruyne was looking forward to having Grealish in the squad. I think everyone has seen that. And yes, you're right. Maybe Kane could get 30 goals with this team.
Yeah.
The thing is that, at Spurs, he had to play every game for Man City, he doesn't need to, like that's the thing, he can be fresh all the time, he just doesn't need to play all the games. He can stay fit and still bang in goals like left, right, and center, man. It's going to be a crazy signing if they pull it off. I only worry about his injury. He's prone to injuries. That's the only concern. But even Aguero was injury prone, but still he was banging in goals for City. The kind of richness in their attacking talents, man. I don't even have words to say. They have like 2 or 3 squads. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
They've got a big squad. They'll be challenging on all the fronts. I think for sure they're going to be wanting to target the Champions League this time. Let's have a quick word about my boys Everton. We're starting against Southampton at Goodison Park, and we've also got a new manager in charge, Rafa Benitez, who I think is going to have to make a really solid start if he's to keep his job. I think just like Mikel Arteta, the pressure is going to be on Benitez, to get off and running in a positive way, because he's been a controversial appointment. Obviously, we know why, the Liverpool links and the stuff he said about Everton in the past. But in pre-season, I've got to give him credit. He's been saying all the right things, and I've been watching all the training, and we're looking pretty sharp. Apart from getting smashed 4-0 by Man United on Saturday. But before then, we'd played 4-1-4. We'd even won a little cup. So he's already our most successful manager in the past 10 or 20 years. In a pre-season trophy. But
get a statue built.
Maybe. But listen, guys, the fans are going to be back as well. That's a big point to mention. They're going to be back in stadiums, and they're going to be back at Goodison, which is one of the most unrelenting places. If it's not going well, so he has to get off to a good start. Otherwise, he could be the early managerial casualty. How do you think he's going to get on at Everton?
I think he'll be all right. I think that, as you said, there's a good solid team there. You might not be real game or anything like that, but they're definitely solid enough. Safely top 10. Don't know quite how high up they'll get, but there's going to be a lot more teams that are in a lot worse positions come even October, November, and you'll start seeing there'll be probably like 3 mini leagues with daylight between them in the table this year, I think, and City at the top, obviously.
I still can't digest the fact that Rafa Benitez is managing Everton football, man. Seriously, I can't digest the fact. But like Imran mentioned, the most important thing is the fans are back, and that could be the problem for Rafa Benitez, because the kind of football that he plays is negative. We have been seeing that, and off late he hasn't been successful enough. But he had a good spell at Newcastle, but there were no pressure at all. But here, right from the first whistle, the pressure will be on his head, and the fans will be on his head. Every mistake will be booed, even by their own fans. So that is going to be a problem for Rafa. And I don't think they have enough to push for a top 4. Maybe a top 6 could be their aim, but even that could be fine, very difficult, because their most creative player is James Rodriguez, and there is a problem between Rafa Benitez and James Rodriguez, and I think he'll be playing Rafa. And yes, they have made some signings with Gray, Townsend. These are like smart signings, but do they have enough to push for a top 6? I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Amari Gray there, Shamsir, he, a few years ago, while he was at Leicester, was being touted as the next £50 million winger. His contract ran down at Leicester without him signing a new one, without anyone else making a bid. He ended up in Germany by Leverkusen. And we've snapped him up for 1.5 million, from 50 million to 1.5. So yeah, it's definitely a smart bit of business. He's a good player. He's only 25. I mean, he's fit, he's strong, he's quick, he's got plenty of skill. So he's a good addition to the team. Townsend as well, a solid workman-like kind of a midfielder, but with 2 great feet, left and right, so he can pop the balls in from either side. He's a good signing. But yeah, if James Rodriguez goes, which I think he will, Benitez just doesn't get on with him. I don't know what it is. At Real Madrid, when he was manager there, the first thing he did was drop Rodriguez. So let's see what he does and how they get on. But the early kickoff on Saturday is Man United against Leeds. Now, this is always a good fixture. There's always goals and action in this one. Plenty of talking points, I'm sure. So, Hill, how do you think this is going to go?
I think another 6-2 incoming. Oh, just joking. Joking. I think it's going to be a tough one because, I feel like, I don't know if this will get on well. I feel like Leeds is a very, very overrated team. The way the last season, they were so overrated. I mean, the manager is good. They came 10.
Oh, that's a big statement. Bold statement.
Big statement.
Yeah. Look, they're a free-flowing team. I get it, but they concede a lot of goals. Last season, they used to concede a lot of goals. It's not a great thing, Yes, you're scoring goals, but you're conceding goals. It's not a great thing you're doing, by giving in a lot of goals. Not because of the Man United game only. I've seen them losing in many matches. So it will be a tough one for Man United. Varane has not come back. Sancho might not be fully fit to play. Big test again now for Pogba and Fernandes and Rashford is not there, as you guys know. Martial is not played a lot of football. He had a very poor season, so it's going to be a tough one for Man United, and I hope it's a cracker of a game.
I can understand what you mean, Sahil. I think the word I would use with Leeds is they're naive. They're very naive, but that's what makes them really fun to watch. They just bomb forward, and it's all or nothing kind of style of football, and they've been caught out a few times at the back, when they've been doing that. But they're a good watch, and like you say, 6-2. Who knows? It could be another high-scoring game. Chelsea start their season again in a London derby against Crystal Palace, who's got a new manager in charge now, Patrick Vieira, the former Arsenal captain. That's going to be very interesting to see how he copes with the demands of the Premier League. He was last at I think it was Nice when he was sacked in France. Look, Shamsir, if Chelsea are serious about a title challenge this season, then I think this is the perfect fixture. I think just to prove everybody that you're serious. I think that you can blow them away by 3 or 4 goals. How do you think it'll go?
You can't blow any teams away in the Premier League. We have seen that. It's going to be difficult. But yeah, I don't know how the Crystal Palace is going to turn up. It's a Vieira side. It's an unknown entity for everyone. But yes, we have had a good preseason. We have got our players fit, especially the likes of ZH. Is playing some good football, and Kante is back, and Kante is back, and Mason Mount is getting minutes. Kai Havertz is getting minutes. I think we'll be good enough for Palace. And like what you've said, we need to have a strong start. This is the Premier League with City, Liverpool, Man United, everyone, and you can't afford to drop points against the likes of Crystal Palace. Especially at home when the bridge is full, it's going to be amazing, and we have to start with a good win, with a statement win. I can see us winning like a 2 or 3 goals, but you never know in the Premier League. That's the thing, especially with Vieira. We have absolutely no idea how he's going to turn up, with all the youngsters in his squad, especially they have got a Chelsea youngster in them, Mark Gahey. I think he's going to be a Premier League superstar because he's got all the attributes and talents within him to be one of the best defenders in the league. We sold him for like 18 million pounds, but yeah, I regret that, but he's going to be one of the biggest defenders in the league. Watch out for him.
Okay, let's have some predictions. Who will be the champions this season? I'll start first. I think there's a lot of ifs and buts involved right now because the transfer window is still wide open. If City can sign Harry Kane, then they're going to be even stronger. If Chelsea can sign Lukaku, then they're going to be really strong. But I do feel it'll be a title race between Man City and Chelsea. Yeah, Man United and Liverpool are going to be up there. But I've got a sneaky feeling that we're going to be seeing.
Spurs are going to win?
I think Chelsea are going to win. I think I'm really impressed with what Tuchel's done ever since he took over from Frank Lampard. He's really improved the team. They play a really good style of football. They're attacking. They're strong. They don't let up. Even when they're 2 or 3 up, they're still going forward. So I've got a feeling I think Chelsea can do it. Matt, what do you think? Can City defend the title?
There's a reason you're an Everton fan, mate. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. City, I was not confident last season, just because the way that Liverpool, their domination from 2019. We're just stronger again, and we won that at a canter last year. And if you're right that Chelsea are the only team that can pressure them. Lukaku, you just look at how he helped Inter break the stronghold of Juventus almost single-handedly in Italy, and I think he can make all the difference. You'll see the likes of Timo and the guys will actually really learn and grow from him. Liverpool will be very worried about this situation as well because they've been fairly quiet and there's not been vast improvements despite their very limp relinquishing of the title last season.
Van Dijk back now, so he's going to be a...
Sorry, we'll call on Pickford again and we'll get that sorted. He'll be back, but it's an unknown with when you're coming back from injury, so they'll need to wait for him to bed in a little bit as well. United, they've made some good strong signings at the back there. I've never been a big fan of Varane, so we'll need to wait and see how he does. But they'll still get their 20 penalty goals from Bruno, so they'll be okay in that level. But I think that those two will be fighting it out for third and fourth with Tottenham and Arsenal behind them.
Yeah, for me, if City signs Kane, it's game over. Apart from that, if City doesn't sign Kane, then it's wide open. I think even United are contenders for me. The thing is that the kind of signings that they have made, look at their back four now. It's world class. Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, and Luke Shaw looks really good. And the only problem, and look at their attacking strength as well. They have got a very experienced striker in Cavani. They have got a youngster who was creating havocs in the Bundesliga in the likes of Jadon Sancho. Then you have Bruno Fernandes. But the only problem is in the midfield. I still don't think Fred and McTominay is the answer for a proper title challenge. Apart from that, they look really solid. And if this is Solskjaer's team, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to make a title push or win a cup, he has to get the sack. That's what I believe, because now it is his team and he has been given enough time. Apart from that, when you look at Chelsea, like what Matty mentioned, I completely agree with that. And Lukaku, bringing in Lukaku changes the game and the scenario completely, because he is the one who fits the bill properly for us. Like I've mentioned before, he plays the similar system that of Antonio Conte, and he can bang in goals because we have been creating a lot of chances. The only problem for us was, a clinical finisher, and Lukaku will be a clinical finisher. And we have seen him banging in goals in the Premier League before. He has got almost 108 goals in the Premier League already, and Alan Shearer will be worried about Lukaku coming back in the Premier League. In the next 5 years, he's going to score 100 more goals. And even he might probably, beat that record. We never know, because he can bang in goals. So I think City are the favorites for me if they sign Kane. Otherwise, I still go with Chelsea. That's it. That's my prediction for the title challenges. And you can't rule out Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's men have got a good preseason. They haven't made enough signings, but they play as a team. And the most important thing is that Van Dijk is back, which we don't know which Van Dijk is back after the injury, but that makes Fabinho in a move into the midfield, which is really important. Fabinho is the most important player in that Liverpool side, who is a glue to everything that they do. And Fabinho playing in the defense was a problem for Liverpool last season, but now getting him back into the midfield, and Thiago Alcantara getting a full preseason, and he's going to be strong enough to lead that midfield for Liverpool. And Mo Salah, Mane, and Firmino all are going to still score goals for them. So can't rule out Liverpool as well.
So here we've all tipped City, Chelsea, and there's a Liverpool there as well. What about Man United? What are their chances?
Of course they have high chances. Come on, and they've made 2 signings. There are more to come, I think. Like it's all over the news. Maybe Saul or Camavinga. I don't know how Camavinga plays till now, because I've not seen much of the French league. But there's still more to come from Man United, and I think they are definitely title contenders. Come on, look at the squad. But yes, they will miss Rashford for 2 months. Huge loss for the club. But can Martial cope up? Can Greenwood do it for United? Can, Sancho and Cavani? I mean, Cavani will be fine. He's an experienced guy. It's just to get Martial firing again, which was not there last season. Martial was really, really poor. And, how hopefully, Sancho and maybe Lingard can be the magical guy for United. Maybe Lingard can fit in with Bruno Fernandes. Maybe, they can rotate the squad. And I think United are definitely title contenders.
You're
But
forgetting Van de Beek. Where is he?
Huh? Sorry?
Donny Van de Beek.
Donny van de Beek, of course, good mention by Shamsher. He's the guy. Now everyone is saying that Van de Beek should start with Fernandes if Pogba doesn't play. Or maybe they were talking about a midfield three with Fernandes, Van de Beek, and Nemanja Matic, who I think made a mess of Everton this preseason game. So I think there's a lot to come for Man United, but they're saying Man City and Chelsea. It's definitely a good season coming up. So let's see what happens.
A three or four horse title race. That'll be interesting. Right, that's the top of the table. Let's have a quick talk about the bottom of the table, the relegation zone. 3 teams are going to have to go down. I got a funny feeling that the 2 promoted teams, Brentford and Norwich, I think they're going to go straight back down. I think Watford are going to survive. I think they've they've been in the Premier League before. They know how to handle it. They've got Troy Deeney's a big, strong guy up front. And I think Southampton are going to be a surprise relegation candidate this season. Last season, they were awful. I mean, they just dropped like a stone after January or December time. They started really well. They were in the top 6. And then after that, they just fell and they look absolutely awful. I think they could be sucked into a relegation dogfight. Who do you think, Matt's going to go down?
I think you're bang on with Brentford and Norwich. Again, I think it's a step too far for teams that still need to grow. If you look at the likes of Leeds and how they did, I think they were like the exception to the rule. Watford have been up there before; they know how to handle it. Troy Deeney's there to make sure there's no major slip-ups or anything like that, and he's a great leading head that they've got in Deeney. But I think that the other team will be Palace, that's going down because Vieira. I just don't think he cuts it as a manager for me. I've never really rated him as a great coach. He seems to have lasted a year or two wherever he goes, and then he gets thrown out because he's failed. And I can see it happening again. If you look at, again, as I mentioned earlier, how some of the other teams are really strengthened. And, the likes of Leeds United have got a great few players in there that will be good enough for them to stay up, and in the likes of Bamford and who's the England boy that made the breakthrough in the Euros? Yeah. And yes, and I just think Palace will get left behind. Newcastle will have a little bit too much, but I think that they'll be the teams. You're not wrong with Southampton; they'll be down there, but I think Palace will be the other one that drops down.
Who do you think, Shamsir? Bottom 3?
It's not so difficult to predict 2 of them. It's like what you mentioned. I have to agree with you guys. It's going to be Brentford and Norwich, but Norwich and the third one will be the most difficult one to pick. Like it could be either Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Southampton, Burnley, because Burnley, what they have been doing all this season under Daesh is an extraordinary job. Only for Daesh, they're staying up only for Daesh, because they spent absolutely nothing in any transfer windows, but they still stay up somehow or the other because of Daesh. But now, with every other team is strengthening, I really feel I worry for Burnley and Burnley fans. But apart from that, like what Matt...
Just jumping in, Burnley, Dwight McNeil might be leaving as well. So that takes away their attacking threat completely.
That means no one is there to create chances for them. That's going to be crazy. They have to rely full on defense and get 38 points with the 38 draws. That is the only thing that they can do. Even then, it won't be enough. Even then, they need the magical 40 points to stay up. So, and Southampton, I think Southampton will be okay, because they'll be making, yes, Danny Ings, they'll miss Danny Ings, and I hope they'll keep Ward-Prowse, because there have been talks about him going to Aston Villa. If Ward-Prowse stays and Che Adams pick up his form from last season, then there are talks about getting a youngster from Chelsea on loan Broha, the striker, so he can bang in some goals. And they have already signed an exciting talent from Chelsea, Livramento. So I think Southampton will be okay because they've got a good manager in Hasenhüttl. So the problem with this, with other teams like Newcastle, Steve Bruce, I'm not really sure about Steve Bruce's management. Then Watford, like you mentioned, Dini is there, but Ismail Sarr is there. But you know how their management is. They're going to sack the managers soon after they get into the Premier League. They have been in that merry-go-round previously. We have seen that. So I even predict Xisco Munoz to get the first sack because that's how Watford works. So I'm predicting Watford, Brentford, and Norwich. Though so Norwich has got.
So the promoted teams go straight back down.
But even Norwich is going to play some exciting football under Daniel Farke, and they have got Billy Gilmore, Matty. So he's going to run that midfield. But they'll miss the likes of Bundia, who has already gone to Aston Villa. And but it could be another Timu Pukki show, but it won't be enough for them to stay in the league.
Who's going down to Hill?
I have to say Norwich and Brentford. But I don't like Brighton Hove Albion's team, to be honest, so much. They are always lucky. And I want to say about Burnley, you know, like how Shamshir said, Sean Dyche is a magical guy. Whatever players he has, somehow he manages to stay up with the likes of like good strikers like Wood, J. Rodriguez. I think Brighton can go down also. Like, I don't know, maybe Newcastle. But Newcastle are a funny team, to be honest, to watch. How with St. Maximin there. I think they'll survive through him. But I think Brighton will go down with Brentford and Norwich.
Oh, so that's it then. We've discussed the relegation zone. We've seen all the fixtures. I think that wraps it up for today. Thanks for my guests and thanks for watching. And we'll be back soon with a new episode of Gulf News Kicking Back. In the meantime, for all the latest news, head to gulfnews.com and we'll see you next time.